star of today's dish, strawberries. Fresh strawberries, not frozen. Especially that they are in season, so recommended to make them in today's video. I'll show you how to make homemade dumplings with strawberries, fresh strawberries, with cream and sugar. Kids love them, and also adults, the best to make them in season around May, June. So they are delicious, really quick to make. I'll show you step by step how easy it is and quick to make them. And we'll need 4 ingredients. Okay, we only will need 4 ingredients. The main one is a flour. My mom, obviously this is a recipe, my mom's recipe, and she always says that the flour you use, the 450, there's different types. The 450 one will be sufficient. So this one is not one of those, you know, one from the top shelf flour, but this one will be sufficient for dumplings. If you want to spend more money on a flour and use the most expensive one, go ahead. It won't make that much difference. Obviously it might be more fluffy, but still this one is completely fine. My mom makes dumplings all the time and it's completely fine. So 450, not one of the most expensive one, and will do the job. We'll need whole 1 kilogram of the flour, and we'll leave a little bit, like few spoons on a side for when we're making them later on as well. So we're gonna use whole kilogram of flour, which is nice because we don't have any leftovers. Our next ingredients will be hot water. We'll need a ½ liter of hot water, and we'll be using really hot water. So basically we boil the water in a kettle, and we're basically gonna use still really hot water. It needs to be hot. You have to be careful obviously when you're trying to combine the flour and hot water, but it needs to be hot. We'll also need 1 spoon of butter. You want 1 big spoon of butter, and you want to make sure that the butter is, this one is actually Polish butter, but you want really nice butter, as much as real as possible basically. So the nicer quality butter will be really yellow, as you probably can see it through. So we just need to one spoon of butter, and we want to melt it. And then we're going to add it still while it's hot. We're going to add it to our flour. And then lastly we'll need 1 spoon of table salt. This is just normal regular table salt. So we're just going to use 1 spoon. But the spoon, it's not going to be huge. It's going to be quite flat spoon. That's all we need. So 1 kilogram of flour, ½ liter of boiling water, 1 big spoon of real butter melted, and we can add it while it's still hot, and 1 flat spoon of table salt. Those are our ingredients. So let's get started. Okay, we've got our ingredients in here: flour, hot water, salt, and melted butter. With the melted butter, as you can see, it's very yellow. It's real butter, but my mom always say, if I'm not gonna use all the butter, just freeze the rest, and you can have it for next time. So if you're using a little bit butter or you don't eat the butter, just freeze the rest for next time, and just melt 1 tablespoon. Right, we're gonna be using a silicone mat. This is a silicone mat which you can use for all sorts of baking. So I'm using silicone mat like my sister. She recommended that mat to me because it doesn't take any space. You can fold it basically. You can see how thin it is. You can fold it, throw it in a drawer, clean easily as well. My mom used a wooden one, which obviously take lots of space, but old-fashioned. Obviously they used to use a wooden one for dumplings, all the cakes and everything. I'll be using a silicone one, which will do just as good job. I'm gonna start with the flour. We're gonna throw all that flour in, and we're just gonna leave about 2 tablespoons on the side for later. We'll leave it a little bit like this, 2 tablespoons on the side. Okay, now we're gonna make a hole in the middle, and we're gonna add all our ingredients. First we're gonna add a butter straight in, and then a flat spoon of salt. If you wonder why we're adding some butter, is to make the flour and the dough yellow, more yellow in color, not white. Okay, our last ingredient is water. We're gonna be adding a little bit of water and keep kneading the dough. So you just want to keep adding a little bit at a time. And keep kneading. The direction you need to knead the dough is inside. Keep putting flour inside to the middle from both sides. At the beginning, obviously dough not gonna be so nice and elastic, but we're gonna keep adding some water a little bit at a time until we'll get there. I will show you once I add all the water, over half of a liter, but it will be very elastic dough. So I'll show you once I finish. Okay, now we have finished our dough. As you can see, it's nice and elastic. Now what we have to do now is we need to leave it to rest for about half an hour at least, or 1 hour ideally. So we're gonna put it either in plastic bag like this if it's gonna fit in. If you're doing half for around 30 dumplings, 30 pierogi, then this probably would be enough because you're gonna have just half of it. You're gonna put it in a plastic bag. If the bag is too small, you just put a cling film all around it. Make sure you cover it, all of it, a few times, and leave it on the side for about 1 hour if possible. If you don't want to use a cling film, or you don't have any bag like big enough, what you can do, you can throw it to the bowl and then cover with a kitchen cloth. That will be fine. Leave it to rest for 1 hour, and then I will see you in 1 hour to show you what we're doing next. Okay, it's been already 1 hour, so we've got our dough in here. All we have to do is get rid of the foil, and we're gonna cut it in half. We should get around 60 dumplings from all of it. So we're gonna do 30 and then another 30. As I said, we're gonna cut it in half. We're gonna roll the pastry with our dough with one of those rollers. This one is a wooden one, similar to what my mom had. It will last you years to come, so really good piece of equipment. And then if you're just starting, if you are a beginner and you do this first time, I would recommend to buy one of those. Very clever thing. It's plastic actually, so it's good to making dumpling, especially when you're just starting. As you can see in here, it will basically give you a shape to your dumplings. All you have to do, I will show you in a second, but you're gonna roll the dough, and then we're gonna cut it out in here. Actually, if you use this side, you're gonna cut it out your dumpling, put it inside, and then put the filling in, close it, and will give you this nice shape like this on the sides. And then I prepared myself a plate here, so I'm gonna throw quickly the one I made with the filling and straight to the water to boil them. In the meantime, I will show you what I've done as well. So that's our station to roll the dough, and we'll get the filling just before. Once we roll the dough, that's when you're gonna take the filling out of the fridge. You don't want to get your filling before, because it's gonna be like a room temperature. If it's colder, it will be easier and it will stay in one piece inside. It won't come off, it won't fall, your dumplings not gonna fall out or fall apart. So you want your filling to be cold. It's better to work with basically while you're making your dumplings. So always take your filling just before. I did make another video to show you exactly how to make a filling, so in today's video I'll just show you all the steps. But if you want to find out how to make the filling, just watch my previous video. Once you're ready to roll your dough, you need to get yourself a pan with around 5 liters of cold water. Put it on a gas. Prepare yourself some salt. We're gonna put some salt, a little bit of salt, and then a little bit of oil, few drops. Then we've got a plate ready for our dumplings and a cold water. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna throw our dumplings in while the water is boiling. Then we're gonna throw our dumplings, and I'll show you what to do. We need a couple of plates, I would say. because you're gonna have lots of dumplings coming out as well. So we're gonna prepare ourselves 2 plates. One of those to basically get all the dumplings out, throw them in, and then cold water, salt, and a bit of oil. So we're gonna put our water on gas now. Okay, first thing what we need to do once we divided our dough is put a little bit of flour on the bottom so nothing is sticking, and we can always put a little bit of flour there before you're gonna move on to your dough. Now we're gonna roll the dough until we get nice and thin layers. Okay, once we've got rolled our dough, as you can see it's nice and thick now, we are now ready to put our water on the gas, and then we're gonna get our filling outside of the fridge to cut out our dumplings. But the cool thing is that you can turn around this way and you can cut the size of your dumplings. It's basically using it this way, turn it around, and you've got your dumpling. This is the size of your dumpling. Best thing is to take them, make loads of them first, and then we're gonna go into putting the filling in. Okay guys, guess what we're doing? Dumplings with strawberry. Even if you don't know what you're doing, don't worry, we can tell you how to do it, what to do with it, and how good it's gonna taste. And remember guys, keep rolling. Keep rolling.
I can't do it. It's not good.
You can do it. Tell yourself you can do it. You can make those dumplings easy.
Roll it into a bowl.
Even if you think it's not easy and taking too long,
There we go.
believe
See,
me,
that's good.
you will enjoy them in no time. We've got in here dumplings, pastry. It needs to be in here like for 1 hour rest. And in here we've got fresh strawberries, not frozen. Do not use frozen one. We just wash them and cut them in half, as you can see in here. And that's all we need. Always we're gonna eat fresh dumplings with strawberries. We don't want to freeze them because otherwise they're gonna be watery. So I'm just gonna make them as many as you think you need and eat them straight. Okay, from this you will have about 15 dumplings. In the meantime, while you're rolling a dumpling pastry with a pin, what you want to do is put strawberries, cut them and put them in the fridge so they're cold and they're keeping the foam. Otherwise they're going to be room temperature and they're going to be probably watery, and this is not what you want. So they can keep the foam when you make them and throw them straight away to cook. So keep them in the fridge in the meantime while you're doing this. For one of dumplings like this, we need probably 1 strawberry cut in half, no more than that. Okay, and now 2 minutes in hot water. Okay, our dumplings with strawberry, we're gonna serve straight away warm. We're gonna add some cream, 30% ideally, or we can use 18%. This one is 30. If you have to eat it and it has to taste good, just use 30, go for it. And then on top of the cream we're gonna add some granulated sugar. Why granulated sugar? Because it's nice and sweet, so it's gonna add the sweetness to your strawberry as well. It's gonna be delicious. And this is our dumplings now ready. We're gonna taste them now, and they look delicious.
Yum yum.